Perfect. So Sarah, you obviously have the questions. I'm going to read an intro here first, opening up the podcast, and then I'll welcome you in. Question number one, you'll talk about Learn Experts, and then when we get done with the 10 questions, I'll end up with an exit. I'll do a question of the day, and then that'll close it. And then it is a conversation. So I'm going to listen to you. I might think of a new question. I might deep six a question based on how we're doing on time. So it'll just let it be a conversation. It'll be fluid. I want it to feel natural to you as we go through it. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, here we go. In a previous episode, we hosted Jillian Alexander, the Global Vice President of Learning Services at OpenText. In that episode, we discussed how OpenText is leveraging AI to radically scale their ability to create education materials for customers. Today, we'll be clicking into the technology that made that possible. I'm Thomas Law, the Executive Director of the Technology and Services Industry Association. And welcome to Tectonic, the podcast where we explore what makes technology business models successful in today's world. And today, I will be having a conversation with Sarah Sedgman, the CEO of Learn Experts. This is the AI tool that OpenText actually leveraged. And Sarah and I will be discussing specific AI capabilities as well as her experience leading an AI startup. So let's get the wonderful insight engine humming here. Welcome, Sarah. We're going to open up here. Can you provide an overview of the mission?
Yes, thanks for having me. And at Learn Experts, our vision is really to transform information into learning. We're doing that through an AI engine. And today, what happens is a really small group of instructional designers can create great training. And we want to unlock the potential for anyone to build great training as long as they have that subject matter expertise and an expert in their space.
Fantastic. And so you have built the capabilities there around OpenAI, right? So you took that language model. So kind of explain how you did that.
Yeah, so our vision actually many years ago was to take raw content in its existing form. So maybe it wasn't purpose built yet or in a way that could create great training. And our vision was to take that raw content and turn it into learning content through our platform. So we really took a different approach. We're longtime instructional designers. We've designed, developed, and delivered training for 25 plus years. And so we wanted to take a system, eliminate some of the mundane tasks that a human needs to do, and then use AI to transform that raw content into really good quality learning content so that it would assist and help the human. Of course, the human still needs to make some important, impactful decisions. So we had gone and started to build our own way to do that through AI libraries, algorithms, and rules. But of course, we didn't have $1 billion or probably more. I don't know what was invested in OpenAI. We didn't have that.
Right.
So we could only get to a certain level of quality. When OpenAI launched, it was a great, incredible opportunity for us to remove some of the ones that we had built. We still have our own in some cases, but also leverage OpenAI, which was a highly trained model that really drove that quality in learning. And on top of that, we put layers and layers of our own subject matter expertise in learning to really drive that high quality that's being generated.
Yeah. So as I hear that, OpenAI as a platform has just been a huge accelerator for you. I mean, you already were on this path. You had this vision of being able to create this capability, and it just basically just leapfrogged you forward in terms of what you're able to do as a company. And when you talk about content or raw content, just explain to listeners the types of content you can leverage, into your engine to come out with actually meaningful educational materials on the other side.
Yeah, and we get this question a lot from our clients, like, what can we use?
Yeah.
So we pretty much say anything. Like it can be in a doc format, PowerPoint, video file, like a number of different formats that you can use to input in. But the content can be really raw format. So it can be a video that's just like a question and answer style like this that can be used. But also, like for tech clients, it can be a documentation guide or even content from Jira and Confluence from the programming team.
Yep.
And as long as there's some content, then the system does a really good job of leveraging that. It'll help you to rewrite that into a learning style. For video content, it'll actually pull out the audio file and write it into text that follows learning best practice.
Well,
there's a whole bunch of logic that we've built in, but in minutes, all of a sudden you have content that you can leverage that you don't, as a human, have to rewrite in a learning style. So that's what really helps to jump forward as a starting point to save that 67% plus time frame for developing the content. But it can be, we have all sorts of different use cases. And of course, our customers are experimenting with even more, than we originally set out to suggest. And gaining a lot of value using that content from the subject matter experts.
Well, the first time I heard about this use case within education services, right, to leverage AI to help build educational content, and the fact that it could ingest, a lot of different types of content, I thought of, my background was in professional services initially, and you think about all these experts who are in your, typically in your embedded PS organization that are creating like tons of customer-facing PowerPoints to help explain this and explain that, and that now all becomes potential, right? That you can bring in and now have a much more structured, better, educational set of materials that come out of that. But yeah, as soon as I heard about this, I'm like, wow, there is a whole wealth of knowledge out there that typically is just in PowerPoint files somewhere, and only the PS solution architect knows where it is or whatever. And this is a game changer. But having said that, because I am, personally very impressed by this use case here. There is still this issue of sort of, separating hype from reality and that gap, and people are, trying to still understand that. And even you and I have spoken previously. Some people come to the table and they go, well, yeah, I can just, dump a bunch of whatever stuff into your black box, and magically all this great stuff will come out. But let's ground the audience, right, in terms of what it does take to effectively leverage AI for content creation.
Yeah, I have actually had people say to me, okay, great, I'll just throw all this stuff in, and then in a minute I'll have a course. And also, a lot of the industry is experimenting with ChatGPT. I'm seeing all sorts of different reactions. So yeah, some people say this is going to be either the Leah tool or ChatGPT or other Gen AI tools. Like, this is going to be great. I don't need to put any of my own subject matter expertise in around learning. I can just create a course in minutes. And then other people are skeptical that it's even going to generate good content for them. So there's all sorts of different reactions.
The whole spectrum. Yeah.
And on our side specifically, for the Leah product, which stands for Learn Experts AI, we purpose-built the system to have the system do things, and there's logic built in from our years of experience, but we wanted to make sure that the human still could make the impactful decisions. And so if you're an instructional designer, you can feed this content in, which we know for years and years. I started my career as an instructional designer 25 years ago. So I know that course developers, instructional designers will go find that content anyway and use that as a base for their course, but they have to manually rewrite all the content, structure it in the right learning framework. And so we know it's important for them to still make impactful decisions. The AI may generate content, but you still need to go through it, make sure that the system has done the right thing, maybe add to it, have it regenerate or rewrite for you, like iterate on it. And same with ChatGPT. Of course, people are finding that it can hallucinate and make things up if it doesn't know. So it's still really important for us to remember that AI is a tool to help us, but the human still has to go in, make sure it's done the right thing, add to it, structure it the right way for the purpose, that you want to use that content for. So we're educating our own clients and customers on that, of course. But the OpenAI is really advancing. It's really exciting to see how quickly that's improving. But also on top of that, we're able to continue to, look at the learning content that's being generated, and then add our own layers. Like, we're constantly, every week, we're adding more and more layers to really drive that high quality output.
Yeah, because I think the important thing here like you and I were talking before, is garbage in, garbage out kind of issue here. You've got to have good quality content coming in. You do have to have expertise wrapped around the AI to make sure that it is good quality educational material coming out, because again, you're talking about materials to educate your customers on your technology. They better be accurate and effective. They cannot be wrong. They can't, so this is the stakes are high there, right? You want to make sure that it's a quality, end product. But so one of the things that we care a lot about as AI is, continues to unfold in a lot of different use cases, is what are the best practices in deploying AI? And you're now in a chair where you're getting to see lots of different companies, right, roll up their sleeves and say, okay, let me see how I can use AI and deploy it in education services. So what are some of the best practices or the winning patterns that you're seeing there?
Yeah, we're seeing, I guess, part of when I'm meeting with our own customers, they're asking me the same question. Mm-hmm. So I'm almost, as a company, we're almost, as we're supporting the customer, guiding them through what to think about and how to roll out their AI strategy, especially for us around the education space. But they're asking questions about, we're in the content authoring space, but also certification and, mm-hmm. What about all these AI video tools, and how do we deal with translation? And all of these tools are the same. Like, they can use AI to do something for you to a certain percent. You still need the human to interact and mm-hmm. help drive it to completion. Especially that's important when you think about translation in mm-hmm. tech, because the AI translation generation tools don't always translate the technical terms the right way. Yeah. But some of the best practices we're recommending. So number one, I continue to remind everyone, we've been using AI tools for a long time in mm-hmm. the learning space too, like especially around the LMS side, to help with personalization and serving mm-hmm. up the right training when someone's consuming training. So it's nothing new. It's just the generative AI component is newer. And so we all need to treat it like we'd research and look at any other tool. Mm-hmm. Reach out to people who and starting with a strategy is important. So I am seeing a lot of companies kind of just jump in and say, well, let's just try a bunch of things. But you need a strategy around it. So I recommend, pick your top one or two pain points that you can't solve today with any other tool or AI component. Pick a few. Go research tools or ask your peers in the industry, what are they trying or seeing, pros and cons. Mm-hmm. Build out a use case and then try that one use case. But where I'm seeing, it's a change management piece. So try the use case, feel it. Did it help improve, help your team through the change management piece? But the companies I'm seeing most successful at implementing the AI productivity faster are the ones that are coming at it from a strategic approach. So, mm-hmm. so at the top level, maybe it's coming from the C-level, or maybe it's coming from the middle management layer. But there's a strategy around, we're going to have the AI components help us gain productivity in the following areas to start. And they'll set out some goals for the year, mm-hmm. Whatever that looks like for their company, and help guide their team through applying that. The companies I'm seeing just say, well, we have to look into AI because it's the hot topic and everyone's talking about it. Those companies, because the team below who's trying the solution doesn't have a great strategy from the top as to how they're fitting AI into their strategy, those are the companies I'm finding, are kind of looking at a number of different solutions and not really sure
What to
where
do?
to
Yeah.
end.